Tiffany and Brad with Years of Years, and it's this day in Disney for February 1st.
February 1st.
Happy February Day.
Happy Valentine's month.
Yeah. But it's cool to start a video out on the first day of February. That's pretty fun.
That is fun.
That. Yes.
Great way to start.
Yeah. So today we are going to 1947 with the birth of an Imagineer. On this day, Tony Baxter, or actually his middle name is Wayne, Tony Wayne Baxter, is born in Los Angeles, California.
We know a Wayne in the TTA. He's a bus driver at Disney World. Hey, Wayne.
Awesome. Yes, but Tony Wayne Baxter, he actually got his start at Disney back at the Disneyland Resort in 1965 as an ice cream scooper at Carnation Garden Plaza.
Wonderful.
So, but you know,
Carnation ice cream. Now that's an instant breakfast. Right?
Well, his love of Disneyland actually started when he was 8 years old, and he went to the parks, and he first toured Imagineering actually before he was even hired. So I mean, he had a love of all that very, very early.
Yeah,
on.
but he didn't just go visit. He was inspired, and he did something.
Yeah. Well, first I just want to say that he was inspired by the great moments with Mr. Lincoln.
Okay. Like
getting to see that. I mean, that was amazing. This is like the 60s, and getting to see an animatronic Abraham Lincoln, phenomenal, and it, you know, it really inspired a lot of children. Particularly Tony.
I don't think animatronics and robots have the same impact on children and youth as they did before. Like, even when I was a kid, there was like in the Sears Christmas catalog, there was this one robot that was $275 with like a cassette in his chest, and I still want that robot to this day. You know, I mean, robots really used to inspire. So not surprising. On
this particular trip, he was inspired by great moments of Mr. Lincoln, and he was really drawn to Disney Imagineering at that really young age. But then later, when he was actually going to Cal Poly Pomona, he was a landscape architect, and he actually got invited to do a second tour of you know, Imagineering because he had actually created for his senior project a Mary Poppins
attraction. He built it. So like landscape architects, they didn't just used to build on or draw on paper. They would actually build like dioramas of the landscape design. So obviously he had some experience there in like tooling and miniatures, and he did that and built a Mary Poppins attraction.
Yeah, well, I know at visiting, he changed his major to theatrical design, just because he knew that he needed to change his major in order to, you know, do what he wanted to do for Disney. So anyway, I mean, he was influenced. He really got the job doing ice cream because that's what you could get. He actually worked there at the youngest age you could work there, which was 17 years old. So he was there from really the beginning of his career. So I just think that's
knew where he wanted to be and worked it right away.
Yeah, that's really smart. Yeah, and
I kind of did the same thing with my career a little bit in newspapers and publishing and marketing. I went right to our local newspaper as a kid and worked in the darkroom. I mean, sometimes you just go and you claim it. You claim your path.
Yeah.
He did that.
So I have a lot of respect for Tony Baxter and his ideas. I really, really love the ideas that didn't happen, and we're not going to get into that day today. Hopefully another day we could talk about some of his bigger ideas that, you know, didn't happen either because of finance or the times. You know, things just happen and stuff doesn't get built. But today, let's focus on what he did do. So Big Thunder Mountain opened in September 2nd, 1979, and it was, and then a year later they did the one at Disney World, and we'll get to that in a second. But so it was Tony Baxter and Claude Coates, and Claude Coates was Tony Baxter's mentor, so he got to work with him to do it. And his Tony Baxter's ideas for Big Thunder Mountain were even bigger. Like, it was supposed to be like a whole land thing, but like I said, we're not going to get into that. But there are storylines, and I want you to understand, and you probably already do, but I want to reiterate, There are so many stories behind these rides, and if you ask cast members or go research it, you can find these stories.
Yeah.
And it makes the ride even better.
Some of them have even been captured.
Yes.
Like, you know, when Disney acquired Marvel, they did like several comic book series, and some of these stories are based on those early stories. So.
Absolutely. So when you are in the Big Thunder Mountain over at Magic Kingdom, and you were going down right before you get into the line queue, when you're going down that slope, and you look up and there's a painting, that is Barnabas T. Bullion.
He's holding a little staff.
And he will look very familiar to you because it's painted after the likeness of our Tony Baxter.
Yeah.
So check that out.
And one of the cool things about Big Thunder Railroad was that it was the first attraction that had no Walt involvement. Is that correct?
Oh, that's right. So yeah, this was the first attraction that really, you know, these guys came up with on their own. The whole concept, this wasn't anything that
it was
really
an Imagineering project.
Walt had thought of. It was Tony Baxter, Claude Coates, you know, and really, I mean, Claude Coates too. We'll talk about him in the future, but Tony Baxter's ideas were phenomenal, and I'm so grateful for what we did get with him.
I mean, he is the father of our Figment.
That's
the
right.
Journey Into Imagination.
Another
It's coming up.
attraction, and we're not going to go into big detail on that one, but yes, he is the man behind, you know, the Figment attraction. Well, at the time the name changes have changed a little bit, but you know, he came up with Figment, he came up with Dreamfinder, and the entire ride is all his, you know, brainchild. He came up with all of it. Yeah, the original in particular, and you know, even getting the casting on the Dreamfinder and having him come out and you know, getting photo opportunities.
One time I made a post to Instagram, and instead of writing Dreamfinder, I wrote Wishmaster. I'm serious. Like sometimes your brain just like snips out.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It was hilarious. I got called on it too.
He had so many ideas though, and worked a lot in Epcot as well, but like the Land Pavilion, go look up, like if you can find information on him and his ideas on the Land Pavilion, really, really interesting. Things that didn't happen, but still, like the way the buildings look and everything are based off of stories. I mean, he was so good, or he is so good at incorporating,
which brings up a great
rides
point,
into stories.
Yeah. So he was involved with Splash Mountain. And now with the reimaginings,
Splash Mountain was completely his idea. Just, you know, like they had actually something called America Sings, and it just wasn't being, people weren't going to it as much. And so they actually incorporated America Sings into Splash Mountain, and those characters came from America Sings.
Not just Song of the South.
Right, but he loved Song of the South, and that's why he used Zippity Doodah,
right, which
and everything.
Which was to be featured as a song, obviously with the closer, you know, but not the whole experience wasn't Song of the South.
No, it's not. I mean, it has to do with America Scenes and those characters. I mean, it's partly that. I mean, anyway. But what Brad was going to bring up, which he's so excited for, because he's really excited.
I'm way pro reskinning it, Princess and the Frog, and they've reached out.
Yeah, Tony Baxter still does consult on stuff at Disney, so he will be consulting on this, and I think that's really wise.
Well, it's a legacy project. It's not just new.
They're not going to lose that ride structure, so having him come in and work on it, and just knowing the things that he's done and his great storytelling ability through a ride, you know, I'm excited. It makes me actually more excited about it. So, you know, yesterday or the other day we were at Magic Kingdom, and it wasn't working. The Splash Mountain wasn't working. I was like, are they working on it? No, we'll be told when it's actually time, but not yet.
When they run out of the Ziploc bags, right? Splash Mountain Ziploc bags. When all those are gone.
I love those. All right, so he did the 1983 remodel for Fantasyland at Disneyland, and really changed it. I mean, so many people have loved what he's done, you know, with Fantasyland and that remodel. And then he also, Indiana Jones. So he worked on that, and he also I mean, he was with 400 other Imagineers. So
Which
this
means
is like,
in some ways that he also engineered Dinosaur. Because those two have the same exact...
You think so?
No, they have the exact
well,
layout.
maybe with the ride, but I don't know if the theming and stuff.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah, for sure. And then, okay, so then the Finding Nemo submarine voyage, he was responsible for taking 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and making it Finding Nemo, which was not easy because you have like 20, I think it's like 20 or more windows in there that are looking out, and you need the sequencing of the music and the voices and everything to match up, and it was difficult. But he, by this time, of course, he has a lot of talent and understanding, so he was able to make
people
that happen.
who were outraged with the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea becoming Nemo. Again, Tony Baxter, someone that they trust, a legacy like Disney Imagineer, is brought in to help with that transition.
And I
just
think
like
he
now.
did actually work at the Walt, not the first 20,000, but I think he did help with the one at Magic Kingdom. Possibly, I might be wrong on that one. So he was familiar with it. So like I was just excited to hear that he's going to be working on, you know, the Princess and the Frog, or whatever they call it. I don't know what they'll call it, but it should be interesting. But like right now, I mean, I don't see it starting anytime soon.
Yeah, but I do think that they need to take
done.
action. They do need to take action. Yeah, I mean, they've made a commitment. I think.
Well, I think when things get back, you know, to more,
it's going to happen quick.
Of where work stuff is happening, like all.
Oh yeah.
You know, heavy
I'm not
again.
pushing. I'm just saying it's going to have to be a priority.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about Tony Baxter another time, and you know, he gives talks and things like that at, you know, D23 and other Disney things, and there's so much online. Other Disney history people have done great shows on him, and I would encourage you to go discover more about him, because
there's plenty to discover.
Yeah, he creative and really, really important to the Disney
appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it for this day in Disney. And did you guys know who Tony Baxter was, and what rides do you like that he's worked on? And just tell us about it.